Why do women often crown themselves as a queen?
I would say we've just been mistreated like a lot as a society. I mean, men in general really mistreat women, so I feel like it kind of just puts us up to call us ourselves a queen.
Because we're independent women who don't need no man.
Right?
We're all
Women are
queens.
beautiful and they're bad bitches, and they're the creators of life.
Okay, well, actually, they say women are the harborers of life because women can't conceive without a man. So, do women create life or do women carry life?
Because men
We
can't
carry,
have kids.
They can't have kids either.
Well, right, but I'm saying we need each other, right?
Physically carry them in our womb and let them grow inside our bodies like aliens.
But it takes two people, right?
It does take
We're
two
the
people.
ones who carry.
But
for
we
9
do all the
months. We
work
have
and they
to
get the fun.
We carry the babies of the world. Like, you think that they would show us a little more respect? God damn it.
We are the prized possession.
Chad, do you guys think they don't get enough respect? Do you think that society doesn't recognize them enough? Do you think the media doesn't give them enough attention? I think it's the opposite.
Is a woman doing the world a favor by having kids?
No. The world is overpopulated.
Isn't she just creating more traffic?
Yes.
Okay.
Women are special. We literally birthed the entire planet. Like, nothing would be here without us, so.
If the thing that makes women special is having kids, why do so many women choose to focus on their careers instead of becoming mothers?
Well, actually, men are lacking in the father department, to be honest with you. I'm actually pregnant and debating what to do about it simply because of the shitty men that come up to me every few seconds.
Why do women often consider themselves the creators of life?
Because we foster that life.
So don't women carry life rather than create it?
Yeah, I think that would be.
Men create life. They're more of an oven, you know. You download Brave and you won't get any ads. Brave? I've never heard that one. I'll check it out. Bitches are evil and have very big egos. I agree. At least in the West. For sure. Yeah. We produce the life. They incubate. They're an incubator. That's what they are.
A good way to say it, yes.
Well, it does. The baby does, like, a fetus starts off as 2 cells, and it multiplies in the woman's body, and it's like the nutrition comes from the woman's body, the energy comes from the woman's body, like all of that is from the woman. That's why I'd say that they think they're the creators.
A man can repopulate an island full of women. Can a woman repopulate an island full of men?
Yeah, it would just take longer.
So don't men create more life?
Yeah, they would create.
Women can give birth to 1 child a year. Men can give birth to an unlimited amount in a year. Not give birth, but make an unlimited amount of women pregnant within a year.
More.
So then, if anyone was the creator of life, wouldn't it be men?
Well, I still don't think it's either of them.
Yeah, I think
I don't think it's either, but I'm just saying if anybody was going to create more life, wouldn't it be men?
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah.
At a faster rate, but 1 woman, 1 man would create life at the same rate.
Do you think it's harder to give birth or to raise a child?
Harder to raise a child. Giving birth is obviously extremely painful, but raising a child is, if you don't do a good job, that child's going to be screwed for life.
Raising a child, anybody can push out a baby.
Is she sitting there fucking like throwing that thing around?
Raising a child is, if you don't do it.
She's talking, and while he's talking, she's going like this.
I could see giving birth being very hard. You definitely have to carry that baby for 9 months.
No one's denying that.
That's a lot you have to go through.
Thank you, Artful.
But taking care of a child, that's 18 years of responsibility. You have to put a roof over that child's head, clothe that child, feed that child. That's a lot of responsibility. Like once the woman's done birthing that child, like you have to be ready for what comes with that child. Like there's a lot more than just birthing that child.
So if the answer is parenting, then why don't single dads get the same credit as single moms?
I don't know. I wish they did.
They're honestly just probably overlooked. There's not as many single dads as single moms. You hear about
Dude, fucking smack that shit out of her hand. She's still spinning that shit around.
single moms everywhere. Like, I have a single mom. My boo has a single mom. My ex had a single mom.
She's
I just know
annoying.
so many single moms. Like,
Why isn't Father's Day given as much attention as Mother's Day?
fathers are absent. That's probably why.
Most absentee fathers are their children that are kept away by force from their father. Most fathers want to see and parent their children, and the mother tends to keep them away and then call the father an absentee father or a deadbeat dad. Most dads want to be in their kids' lives.
Why is it when a father abandons his child,
bunch
they
of
call him a
bullshit.
deadbeat dad, but when a woman aborts her child, they call it her choice?
They don't. That's the rhetoric that I would like to think, but no. If they get called, they get called, they get called murderers, when in reality, you don't know what brought them to that decision.
I don't know a woman who has been happy about aborting a baby. I think it's mostly when they know that they will be a deadbeat. They don't have money.
It's like a
They choose to not have it because they don't want to be the deadbeat.
Should we support a woman who aborts her child because she did?
What about deadbeat moms? What about moms receiving assistance from the government? Are they not deadbeats? They opened their legs for this deadbeat and got pregnant by this deadbeat. Is that not their fault? Are they not supposed to take responsibility for that? Are they not also wrong? Are they not also deadbeats? We need to start calling women deadbeats. They get so much assistance from family, friends, society, the government, and they sit on their asses and they lay judgment upon men. It's unbelievable. If you see how a lot of these women live too, it's embarrassing.
Did what was best for herself.
Yes.
Why do we condemn men for abandoning their children because they did what was best for themselves?
Because at that point, they're abandoning a developed and birthed child versus abandoning or killing a fetus. It's not a human, it's a fetus.
Why is it if a woman can't pay?
A fetus is a human. That makes no fucking sense. A fetus, if it's left alone and nourished in a woman's body, it will become a baby. If fetus isn't human, that doesn't make any fucking sense. Let's get sex with a horse.
Pay for her baby, she gets government assistance, but if a man can't pay for his baby, he goes to jail.
See, I never heard of that one. Getting government assistance does make sense. You have to make ends meet if you're gonna decide to have a kid. But for a father going to jail, is that even?
Well, if he doesn't pay child support.
Oh, that's his problem. He's not being active. He can just
It's a
be a
human.
father and man up. Instead, he's being forced to pay child support because he's absent again.
With, I think it was 60% of single mothers, their fathers or their baby daddies are not paying child support.
What'd she say? Let's go back.
With, I think it was 60% of single mothers, their fathers or their baby daddies are not paying child support.
I call bullshit on that one. I call bullshit on that. Chad, does anyone have the numbers for that? 60%? They're not paying child support? I think that's bullshit. I think that's bullshit.
So I mean, there's a lot of laws that say one thing, and those laws aren't really enforced unless the offended party presses charges, which a lot of times that doesn't happen because of how screwed up the judicial system is.
Because you're a man, and this is messed up, but they don't really show too much love to men. Like I said, the court system is for the women, the world is for the women. As a man, you have to be tough, and you have to like fuck it. You know, you got to be like.
Okay, let me ask you this. If we live in such a patriarchal society, where did all these laws come from that protect women and punish men?
I don't know. That's a good question, honestly, like, because it's been that way forever.
Is it possible that we don't live in a patriarchy?
Definitely. That's definitely an opinionated thing. Everybody has their own opinion. I'm pretty sure the women love how it is. But like I was saying earlier, like I get it because you have to carry that baby and all that. but a woman could drop her baby off at an orphanage. You know what I'm saying? So
I am pro-choice.
Yeah.
If a woman should have the right to opt out of motherhood and make that choice, should a man also have the right to opt out of fatherhood and 18 years of child support?
Not if the baby is coming into the world. Unfortunately, the baby will exist at that point and need to be taken care of.
Why should men be forced to be fathers if
Do you see a little fucking like at the end? This bitch is annoying, bro. With your septum piercing, yeah, I saw that too.
women aren't forced to be
See it.
mothers?
They need to learn to keep it in their pants otherwise, honestly.
Well,
What'd she say?
fathers if women aren't forced to be mothers.
They need to learn to keep it in their pants otherwise.
Right. It's not the woman's fault. It's the man's fault. He needs to keep his dick in his pants. Not the woman has to choose, make better choices, and not open her fucking legs. Once again, deflecting accountability. It's not my fault that I'm pregnant. It's your fault because you're a deadbeat and you can't control yourself. That's why I'm pregnant. It's unbelievable. Close your fucking legs.
Honestly.
Well,
take accountability. I'm wrong. I'm also at fault, motherfucker. He fucked up. I fucked up.
Is the man solely responsible for getting a woman pregnant, or does it take two people?
It definitely takes two people, but for him to walk out of their life, that's his choice.
Well, for the people who say that the men should have thought of that before they had sex, isn't that the same argument that pro-lifers use against abortion?
Not necessarily. Pro-lifers are doing that because they don't think a life should be taken.
Well, I'm just saying, if you're going to say that a man should keep it in his pants, how is that different than saying a woman should just keep her legs closed?
It's not really different. The difference is the woman chose to be a woman and a mother and have the baby, and the man chose to disappear and maybe pay child support or not.
Well, why are we always talking about the woman's choice, but we never talk about the man's choice?
Yeah,
Women-
see? Fucking nothing. She never thought about that shit. She doesn't give a fuck. Man's choice. She doesn't give a shit. They don't like you. They don't like men. They don't like you, motherfucker. They have no respect. Nothing. They don't give a shit. They don't give a shit that you built the society that they live in. She's sitting there fucking twirling her little balloons in Las Vegas, which men built and created. She spits in your fucking face while she enjoys the fruits of your fucking labor. She doesn't give a shit. Not only that, she'll fucking take half your shit, laugh in your fucking face as you struggle, and become suicidal and get cut out by everybody. They don't give a shit about you. They never even, this thought never even came into her fucking head. She doesn't give a flying fuck. They don't give a shit. They don't.
Men are just more degraded than men are. Unfortunately, I literally have men coming up to me telling me they want to spank me and do this and that. And I'm like, dude, this is the first time we're talking. I don't know you.
Well, why are we always talking about the woman's
She likes the attention. And they like being spanked too.
choice, but never the man's choice?
Because it affects the woman's body and it doesn't affect the man's body.
Okay, but doesn't a woman have the choice to opt out of having her body affected?
Yeah, but it doesn't affect a man's body.
Okay, but it does affect a man's future, though.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so what reproductive rights do men have?
They can use protection if they're scared about having a kid. They can use abstinence if they don't want to have a kid.
Okay, but can't women do all the same things as well?
Yeah.
So then why is...
That's not her fault. It's your fault. I do what I want, but it's not my fault if I get pregnant. Shit, you should have been wearing a condom.
Is the man solely responsible for getting a woman pregnant, or does it take two people?
No, it does take two people, but I think ultimately it is up to the woman because it's her body that it affects.
Why do so many women act like it's their duty to have kids when it's actually their choice?
It's not always your choice.
Well, I mean, I said always, but isn't it usually their choice? I mean, unless a woman has,
She gets-
unconsensual sex.
No, she can have a slip up. She can get raped. It's all kind of stuff. And some women don't believe in aborting their kids either. So they just go with the punches, roll with the flow, and keep the baby.
Don't women ultimately decide who gets sex and who gets born?
Who gets sex? Yeah, but not who gets born.
Well, sure they do, because women always...
Have you ever heard a woman say that it's her fault? I'm wrong. Or women made a mistake, or yes, you have a point. You've ever heard that? Where they take accountability and they say that I'm wrong or that is my responsibility. Do you ever hear that? Yeah, that's what I always pay attention for. Whenever I watch these videos, whenever I hear women talk, I ask myself like, or I'm listening to see, is she gonna take accountability? And be like, yes, you know, that is a responsibility as a woman that I have, or that is something that I made a mistake on, or yes, I should have closed my legs, or yes, I should have been using protection or using birth control. It's never their fault. It's never their
To have
fault.
the option to choose whether they want to keep the child or not.
Right, but as I said, some women don't believe in aborting a baby. So even if you're in a bad situation, you still keep it.
But that's still their choice.
Right, and you make the right choice to not kill a life.
Why do women often claim to be the creators of life when the child is wanted, but when the pregnancy is unplanned, it suddenly becomes the man's fault for not wearing a condom?
I don't think that's like at least in my head, I don't think that's a popular opinion. I don't blame it on the man.
What if you wear a condom and she still somehow gets pregnant? I think that is her fault because she should have been. I did what I was supposed to do to avoid her getting pregnant. She should have been on birth control. She should have been looking at her end. I did my end. I wore the fucking condom, right? And I pulled out or whatever. She should have been on birth control.
And
I wonder if we ask them what they would say.
Well, right, but why is it then that a lot of times, you know, it'll be like the man got me knocked up, you know what I mean, as opposed to saying that it was two people, you know?
That's a great question.
Get me knocked up.
If I had to give a controversial answer, I think that a lot of it just comes from like a negative disposition towards men that like most women tend to have. Like for survival, we have negative dispositions towards men.
Can you elaborate more on that? What do you mean towards survival?
So you know, it's like it's really dangerous to be a woman. Like, every woman has a taser, every woman has pepper spray. Like, you know, first dates are scary. My friend needs my location because the worst thing that can happen is that I get.
They're paranoid. They're not in danger. They're paranoid. Most women are not in danger. More guys are in danger than most women. And honestly, though, guys have to take the same fucking precautions women do. You shouldn't walk alone in a bad neighborhood at night. No shit. You should carry a fucking weapon on you if you're in a fucking dodgy area or if you have a dangerous job. You know, this is all common sense shit. You're not unique in that fucking regard. They're just paranoid. They're not fucking at danger more than anyone else. They're paranoid.
Sexually assaulted and murdered, but you know, the worst thing that could happen for a man on a first date is that it just goes wrong. Yeah, you get rejected.
Not saying that none of that can happen.
Right, but it's less common. And so I think that whenever there's a negative situation and it
all right, how many fights has she been in? If she's at a higher risk than a guy from getting attacked, how many fights has she been in? How many times has she been physically attacked? I bet you she's never been in a fight in her entire life, especially with a man. I bet you she's never been in a fight with a man.
involves a man, like the disposition that a woman is going to have is going to be negative towards the man.
So at what point does that kind of become like just, you know, abuse or man-hating?
That's also a good question. I feel like if it's something that you're being like intentionally hateful, if you're intentionally trying to hurt someone, or if you're being intentionally androgynous, then that's whenever it like crosses the line.
Yeah, if you're not trying to have a debate or a conversation, at least by some sort of facts, and you're just bringing in your full opinion, in a sense of like using insults, that's when it can be man-hating, and especially and vice versa from women-hating.
If a man can impregnate multiple women a day, why would women consider themselves the creators of life?
I guess because in the end, they're the only ones who can bring about life.
Well, a man can repopulate an island full of women. Can a woman repopulate an island full of men?
No.
Slowly.
So don't men create more life?
They do, unless the woman has a choice to end it.
True. Okay. What is a surrogate?
Somebody who has somebody else's child.
I've read that scientists are developing an artificial womb to grow babies. If you had the option to become a mother without ever having to physically carry the child or go through the pain of childbirth, would you choose to do so?
Yes.
Is that not adoption?
Why?
I would do it.
Why?
First of all, what if you pick the wrong person to have a child with in the first place? That would be my fear.
Childbirth can be traumatizing for a lot of people. It can be dangerous, especially if you don't have the right health care. So why would you want to put yourself through that if you know there's a safer option?
So if artificial surrogates became commonplace, would that diminish women's role?
No, because they would still need.
Well, in other words, if women and men were reduced to egg and sperm donors, would that make women no longer special?
No, because you still need an egg and a sperm.
Well, right, but I mean, would that make women any more special than it would make a man? Because they're both basically donating DNA. Women would be no longer they would no longer be the ones carrying a child.
See, the way society is set up, though, it would still be put on the women because men are viewed higher in society.
I think a lot of women would still choose to have the babies themselves
So we're better. We're the better sex.
to feel closer. So probably not.
Okay. If women and men were reduced to egg and sperm donors, would that make women no longer special?
I guess if only you did that and nobody had children, then yeah, I guess.
Why is society engineering women out of the equation?
I have no idea.
I think there just might be more either efficient or easier ways to do stuff. I mean, childbirth before modern medicine, like the mortality rate was pretty high. So like if you take kind of that factor away, it's safer for like both mother and child.
Let me ask you a question. If men can impregnate several women a day, but women can only get pregnant once every 9 months maximum, why does the birth control fall to be the woman's responsibility?
That's a good point, but my question is, why are there more birth control options for women than there are for men?
If we're talking about hormonal, there's the pill, there's the Nuva ring, there's an IUD, there's the implant.
If a woman wants to avoid pregnancy and fuck around, she has no excuse. I mean, it's her fault. If she gets pregnant, it's her fault, 100%. It's her fucking fault. She can take every precaution necessary. She can even have sex without condoms with an IUD. If she still gets pregnant, that's on her.
Oh, the IUD has a copper or hormonal option, so it's both. We can also use barrier methods like a condom, a female condom, a dental dam.
I'm going to Dragon.
Right now only for oral, but it can be changed. Abstinence is technically a form of birth control as well.
Is pulling out a form?
Technically, pulling out is a form. It's a really low success rate.
What about for men?
Condoms.
There's barrier methods for men, and they have been trying.
Condoms and getting a vasectomy. Cutting it. That's it.
There's vasectomies. They have been trying to develop hormonal options for men, but they're like the side effects are apparently too much for men to handle.
Why are there more forms of birth control for women?
Left one gets hit. Left one gets gangbangs, no cap. I wouldn't doubt it, man. Being in Vegas.
Than men.
Yeah, two options.
Because it was always placed on the women to control. It was okay for a man to sleep with women, but it was not okay for a woman to sleep with a man. So they're like,
I want to ask them, what is a woman's responsibility? When is it her fault? What are women accountable for? What should women be held accountable for? If anything. She'll struggle for a minute. A guy is held accountable for all of his actions and all of his mistakes.
you got to control it.
It's easier for a man to get a vasectomy because he can get it reversed.
Cheaper.
But a woman has to go through hoops and fire to be able to have birth control or to get a hysterectomy.
And even then, like the birth control itself,
It's like really bad for us, and it causes us a lot of problems, like physically and.
Because you shouldn't be fucking around. Because you shouldn't. It's not normal for you to be this promiscuous. It's not normal to have something in your body that prevents you from getting pregnant. It's not natural. It's not right.
mentally.
Why is there more birth control options for women than there is for men?
I think there just hasn't been a lot of research done through it, to be completely honest with you. I think a lot of it has to do with it just,
that's how it is, and so that's how it stays. And like, I think that a lot of men are unwilling to do something for birth control because.
Don't you think that if there was a birth control pill for men, men would be all over that?
I would hope so. If it gave the same effects, then you could be like, okay, hey,
Yeah,
definitely.
I've heard a lot of men talk about like birth control pills for men, and they often say things like, but I don't want to put like, hormones in my body, or like, I don't want it to change my body, but then don't understand that the birth control that we take does the same thing.
Yeah.
Why are women the stronger sex when it comes to birthing children, but conveniently the weaker sex when it comes to risking rejection, needing sympathy and validation, killing spiders, opening jars, lifting heavy objects, and fighting wars?
Just because, like I said, it's men and women, masculine and feminine. Okay, ask yourself this: would you like a masculine ass woman? It turns me on when my girl asks me to kill the spider or open the jar. Like, it makes me feel like a man. Some of them don't even need it; they just do it to boost our egos. Men are very egotistical. You know what I'm saying? It works together when you find the right.
It's not that men are egotistical. Men need. If men don't feel useful, if you don't feel like you have a purpose, or you don't feel like you're needed, whether that be at home or at work, it makes you feel like shit. Men want to help. Men want to provide. Men want to be a powerful fucking, like, they want to be efficient and useful to the group. That's what men want. It's not the ego. It's they want to be useful. They want to help.
Woman, 100%.
All right, guys, that was the video. I'm gonna cut it right there. Just do a short little video for today.